Welcome everyone, Red Devils Talk. We are live. We are here to review our win against Everton 3-0. And of course, we all saw that absolute banger of a overhead kick from Garnacho. Mainoo, my man of the match. So much to speak about him. And of course, the overall performance and trusting Ten Hag and his process. So subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and of course, hit the notification bell so that you know when I do upload videos and when I do go live. So let's get into it. 100% goal of the season. We can't start anywhere else. It has to be the overhead kick from Garnacho. What a goal. But prior to that, the build-up play was key to the way Ten Hag wants us to play. If you look at the runs that were made off the ball to low, completely taking Mikalenko in on the inside to allow Rashford to have space on the outside, on the right-hand side, playing the ball into him again, and of course, crossing it for Garnacho to score that absolute world-class goal. I mean, the arrogance to do that, but the technique to pull it off flawlessly, that surely is world-class. And it makes Sancho look even more sillier because how is it possible that an 18-year-old, essentially after he was dropped in a preseason, he had to work his way back into the team, and he did it, stayed consistent here and there, didn't have good games when he started, but there was promise, there was potential, and that is something that we know Ten Hag is very, very good with. He's shown it at his time with Ajax. But other than the overhead kick, Garnacho had a good game. He was driving forward, making good runs. He was good on the ball, finding himself involved with the play, and he seemed quite mature in his performance against a very good Everton team that were, of course, as we know, deducted 10 points, but they seemed to wanted to attack us. They wanted to be robust and physical. But the way we started the game, that goal in the 3rd minute silenced Goodison Park. There was literally not a voice to be heard from an Everton fan simply because of that goal. I mean, you could stand up and applaud, and that is what we did as United fans. But 100%, it was a goal that quietened Goodison Park, and that we needed because we then were quite composed. But for the rest of the first half, Everton pressurized us. We seemed to fall into old habits. We dropped quite deep, and we could have conceded. But that's where Mainoo came in. What a performance. As I said, my man of the match. Mainoo was elite, world class in midfield. Not just defensively, but going forward. He also dictated play. 18 years old, dictating play in a Premier League game, in an environment that was hostile. The crowd was loud. They were booing. It really could make a player lose his personal pride in a game. But we were determined. I said before the game that Ten Hag not being on the touchline would either galvanize us to perform stronger or we would crumble into old habits and end up losing. It was the former. We looked quite strong physically. We looked more fitter. We started running more in the second half, especially. That is where the performance was at its best. The second half, we seemed to push up a bit more, be more physical when we were challenging for the ball. And when we had the ball, we played good passes in between the lines. And that is where the quality showed. I said before the game that if we are matching their physical ability, we surely can win them because of our quality alone with the players we have on the pitch. And that is what showed. You look at the way Everton started getting tired with how we were playing the ball in and around them, how we were having players running into spaces that were not occupied by an Everton player. And at times, I did believe and think that every time we went forward, we would score a goal. And that was not because of Martial, but it is because of the way we controlled the midfield in that second half. Mainoo being excellent in his ball retention, dropping deep in between the centre backs to receive the ball, to start play from there. Where would we have been if Mainoo was actually playing throughout the season if it wasn't for his injury in preseason? We probably would have picked up more points. I'm not saying that we would have won City, etc., but we would have had better midfield balance. There's a reason why Ten Hag put him in the team yesterday. There's a reason why he started as the holding midfielder in deep, and of course, as the game went on, became more mobile throughout the midfield. I mean, he received and played the ball way more than McTominay, who is years his senior. Sorry, how is it possible that a player like McTominay, now of course, yes, McTominay has the physical ability to attack, to defend, he's got good stamina, but on the ball, he's a liability. We cannot play through him. So Kobe Mainoo basically did two jobs at once. He was dictating play and he was defending. The amount of blocks that he made in the first half, the defensive work rate that he had in the first half kept us in the lead. In the second half, Onana made a few good saves, but Kobe Mainoo in that first half kept our 1-0 lead intact. An 18-year-old doing that. I was speechless, standing, applauding his performance. What a player. He surely has to start against Galatasaray. That is without a doubt. Now, I personally would want him to start with Amrabat, but to be honest, if he starts in midfield with an Eriksen, I'm sure the same will apply. He just is unreal in the way he wants the ball, receives the ball, turns his body to play the next pass, to shimmy past a opposition player. The way he finds space to receive and then turn and play. You could probably go as far as saying he's the best midfielder we have seen this season in our team. Amrabat has not been performing that particular way, and he came with a good expectation. You look at Mount, clearly cannot get into the team, injured once again. McTominay, as I spoke about, a liability. Eriksen doesn't have the legs to run as much as Kobe Mainoo does. And this is not about age. It's the physical specimen that he is. I'm not comparing him to Paul Pogba, but that is what Paul Pogba's physical presence was. Big, strong, midfield, moving along, doing exactly what he needs to do. So there is hope for us with Kobe Mainoo in midfield and his link-up play with Bruno, and of course Bruno doing what he does going forward, getting another assist. Rashford, confidence for him with a penalty that was given to him by Bruno. Of course, we know Martial got the penalty. It is a good, solid performance. We can build on this. We should build on this. Players returning from injury can give us a boost. Likewise, Luke Shaw. Look at Shaw's performance. Our left-hand side was elite. Nobody could break down from the left-hand side where Shaw was. Defensively, he did his job. And that is why we miss him when he is not playing. The balls that he played from the left-hand side and the way we transitioned from a defensive position to an attacking position by playing out from the back, either side, we were able to do so because of Luke Shaw's ball playing ability and Delo, who is better going forward. But in that second half, we simply controlled the game. And the likes of Kobe Mainoo took the game by the scruff of the neck and decided to be on the ball. Showed fight, grit, and desire. And the quality showed. We got the goals, we got the 3 points. Now, that should have been how we played in previous games. We could have won by more goals had we had this type of intensity. I'm not saying again, if Kobe Mainoo started in previous games, we would have won those games, but we would have been better on the ball. We would have been able to be more dominant and create more opportunities to score because of having more ball players in midfield. Now, McTominay, my opinion, physical, all in that, but he cannot start against Galatasaray because the environment is going to swallow him up. As I said, Kobe Mainoo was able to handle Goodison Park and the loudness that it was. And Galatasaray is going to be worse, if not louder. So a player like Kobe Mainoo with a mature head on his shoulders should start against Galatasaray. Ten Hag trusted him to start in a Premier League game where we needed the points. I'm sure he can do the same for the Galatasaray game. And if we have players of his elite ability wanting to take the game and control it, we then have a chance. We then have an opportunity to win midfield battles. And that has been our problem throughout the beginning of the season. Losing midfield battles, thus losing the game. And Kobe Mainoo will be a huge asset to us in games to come. Rashford won't be available for Galatasaray, but he surely will have a full week off to be ready for Newcastle. And that is another massive game. And again, as a United fan, after seeing the way Kobe Mainoo played against Everton, with his mentality and his mature, calm, and composed demeanor when on the ball and even off it, I do believe that against Newcastle, the ground will not phase him. I think he will take like a duck to water and want to play and perform the same way he has done before. So there's optimism going forward. You can trust the process that Ten Hag is busy with. The likes of Varane, Casemiro, Sancho, De Gea, who was replaced, high earners who now cannot get into the team, injury, attitude, you name it. And you have to trust in Haag in these decisions. With Ronaldo, same thing. You have to trust him. The club has to back Ten Hag in these decisions. On the other hand, there's a professional aspect by Varane, Casemiro to also want to do well for the club. And if that is not their mentality anymore, then Ten Hag has no choice but to drop them and let them go in the long term. This is why Varane and Casemiro are linked with moves to Saudi. We know Sancho is on his way out. So players are going to be replaced if their mentalities are not wanting to do well for Manchester United. Ten Hag has shown that he is ruthless and will drop players and sell them if he has to. Certain players were supposed to be sold, i.e., Maguire, McTominay, etc., but they are still here. But haven't even spoken about Maguire and the good performance that he had. But that shows that he has improved. Whether it was Ten Hag, whether it was himself, a combination of both, he has improved, and that is why he's still in the team. And Varane, with his elite mentality, regardless of his quality, should understand this that as a basis, if you are performing well, you keep your place in the team. This is the bare minimum. And as much as Ten Hag talks about not playing them together and them both of them being not as good on the left hand side of a back two, then simply we have to understand that if one is performing well, the other must wait his opportunity and then take it when he plays. So I do believe that we are on the right trajectory. We are going in the right direction, and we will be starting to see good performances now because of players that we are having back in the team. Because now Ten Hag's ideals and the way he wants to play and the way he sees the game will be executed because he will have the players to do so. You see how Kobe Mainoo was playing. That is what Ten Hag wants from his holding midfielder, his defensive midfielder, able to take the ball, move through the lines, or play a ball through the lines over the top, but be that connecting link between the defense and the midfield to the attack. And that is what Kobe Mainoo did. So it was a solid performance, and it is and should be something that we should build upon. But thank you for joining me in today's review. We definitely will speak about Galatasaray more in detail when we do the preview. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like, hit the notification bell so that you know when I go live or do upload videos. Have a wonderful day further, Red Devils. Garnacho scored a mad overhead kick. I'm still buzzing from it. Probably going to go watch the highlights now again. But have a wonderful day further. Bye-bye, Red Devils.